And thank you again for tuning in to this edition of To the Moon, the stock market webinar. Today we will be going over an introduction to the stock market for beginners. Is the stock market for you? Can you really do it? Of course you can. We'll tell you why it's important, how it can help you to take control of your financial future, how it can structure generational wealth, so it's not just a myth. It's something that's obtainable, something that you can do today, as soon as class ends. I'll give you a few moments to get yourself a pen, to get yourself a pad, make sure that the pen works. So again, we'll take a few moments just to make sure that you get yourself situated. That's right. We are preparing for family wealth. Now, before we get into it, we want to go through just a quick disclaimer. The content provided here on To the Moon is created to create conversation and awareness concerning finances. Content is created for information and entertainment purposes. The information should be used in conjunction with personal research and professional advice. Before taking a look at stocks, charts, and different ways that we can grow your portfolio, let's first take a look at a few stock market truths and let's understand the market a little bit deeper. The Pew Research Center finds that 61% of non-Hispanic white households own stocks, while just 31% of non-Hispanic blacks own stocks, and 28% of Hispanic households own stocks. We all are aware of different disparities in the justice system, banking system, but we very rarely talk about the stock market. We have to understand that stocks are the perfect way to create generational wealth and maintain it. Let's take a look at some other truths that we want to understand before getting involved in the market. Another stock market truth we want to look at before getting into charts and different ways to grow your account is the income class. In the lower income class, we only see about 33%, one third of families invested into the stock market, while in the middle class, we see roughly 70%, according to a Federal Reserve study. Now, the eye catcher has to be the higher income class. In the top 10%, 90% of households own stake in the stock market. This clearly shows you need to be working smarter, not harder. When you invest into the stock market, you have an opportunity to have some of the greatest minds in the world working for you. For example, if you were to purchase shares of Amazon, well, now Jeff Bezos works for you because Jeff Bezos is going to continue to grow Amazon. And when you're invested, if he does a great job at growing that company, well, he's simultaneously growing your wallet. Meaning, while you're doing whatever you're doing, he's out working hard to make you money. Quite simple when you think about it. Same thing for any of your favorite companies. Why should you do all the work? Invest into the stock market so your money can work for you. Not only that, when you own shares of a company, they don't expire. So if you want to pass them down to the next generation, you can easily do so. Again, the stock market is a way to build generational wealth. Let's take a look at some different ways that you can do that. When it comes to investing into the stock market, there are a lot of different ways that you can go about doing that. If you're looking for something with a bigger bang for your buck, you may want to start with looking at purchasing shares of an individual company. If you're looking for something a bit faster pace, where it's a lot more riskier, but the rewards are a lot greater, you want to look at option contracts or futures. If you're looking for something a bit more safer, where you don't have to watch it as much, but you do get steady gains, you want to look into things such as exchange trade funds, index funds, mutual funds, and bonds. Now, First, I need you to do me a favor. Take your hand off of the exit button. Step away. That's the reason why we're here, to talk about different things that maybe we haven't heard of before. So let's dig a little bit deeper into exchange trade funds, just so I can show you the power of them and how it can help you even in the face of a pandemic. All right, before we get into exchange trade funds, I want you to pat yourself on the back because you made it this far. And you could have checked out at any moment, but you obviously want some good information, so we're going to get right into it. First, I want to go through the definition so you have a foundation of what we're talking about. Again, if you're hearing phrases or words that you never heard before, I will simplify that in just a few moments. So, the definition for exchange trade funds. It's a type of security that tracks index, sectors, commodities, or other assets, but it can be sold or purchased on a stock exchange as a regular stock. So they just kind of gave you a $5 way of saying that an ETF allows you to purchase a collection of stocks for just one price. And if you're still kind of walking in the blind with that, let's take a look at some real life examples and it will clear it up for you. So let's take a look at a real life example of an ETF that you can buy as soon as this webinar ends, and you can take control of your own financial future. The name of this ETF is QQQ. It's currently priced at roughly $349. With this ETF, you would get to take advantage or have ownership in all of the companies that you see in that pie chart and also more. The reason why some companies have a bigger piece of the pie than others is this ETF puts more stake in those companies that you see there that are bigger. So for that 349, they split up the ownership into all of these different companies, which is a great thing for you because if Tesla is having a bad year, as long as the other companies are doing well, you're still making money. The great thing that I love about this ETF is look at the 5-year performance. It's up 200%. And you don't have to really spend your time watching charts or trying to understand what's going on with each company. The reason why is should one of these companies start to underperform, the ETF will kick that company out and bring in a new company. Therefore, it creates a system that allows for consistent gains over long periods of time. Let's take a look at another example. In this ETF, we're looking at Jets, one of my personal favorites. Reason why is the price point is still fairly cheap, so I can buy a lot of it. It's currently at 25.06. Now, we all are aware of the pandemic that happened last year, which really hurt the travel sector. Because people weren't able to get out and travel as much as they typically would, we saw a big dip. Well, that is now over. Thank God. So people should be traveling more. So each of these companies should do well over the next few years. Granted, we can't have any more shutdowns, but as long as that doesn't happen, this ETF looks very strong for the very near future. And even with the pandemic, where these companies were faced with very, very turbulent times, it still went up over 20% over the last 5 years. That's pretty good. That is all the time that we have for you today here at To the Moon. We do thank you for your time and spending just a portion of your day with us. I hope that you leave today's session with a better understanding of what exchange trade funds are and how they can help you to have safe, consistent gains over time. I also hope that you leave with a better understanding that when you own stocks, you are taking ownership of your future and that you can pass these stocks down to generation to generation to generation. Also, if you want more content, you can follow us on To the Moon Investments on Instagram. And you can follow us on Facebook at To The Moon, 2 exclamation points. Again, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your time. And I triple thank you for your time. Be safe, be smart, be dangerous. To the moon. Ain't no about they seeing shots. I'm stuffing money in our pockets. I got the sauce on the beats, I'm walking. Stop playing.